Remember that warning in your rearview mirror that objects might be closer than they appear. Storytellers often ignore this warning and the blind spots while driving autobiographical vehicles. Welcome back to Frequently Made Mistakes, the show where we just don't call out filmmaking flaws but also tell you how to fix them. I'm Sudhish Kamath and today we are talking about autobiographical blind spots. And our case study today is Rajkumar Hirani's biopic about his friend Sanjay Dutt, Sanju, a film about bad choices, good parents, and I don't know, question mark headlines. Let's zoom in a little. An autobiographical blind spot happens when you're too close to the subject, emotionally, professionally, even nostalgically, that you can't see the story with clarity. In short, you're too close to the subject to tell the truth. It's why memoirs often get ghostwriters, it's why therapists don't treat their own families, and it's also why some biopics often become fan fiction with just better lighting. In film theory terms, it's the failure of critical distance, the distance needed for reflection, irony, and honesty. Lose that and you stop investigating the subject and start defending them, like in Sanju, where subjective authorship overpowers objective storytelling, where the filmmaker brings more baggage than perspective. Many debut filmmakers make this mistake when they pour their heart out about something that happened to them without realizing that the story is also going to inherit their own biases and prejudices. I also made this mistake when I made my first film and then went on to realize that it's best to treat the story as something that happened to your best friend who expects brutal honesty. The blind spots are not always intentional. Sometimes they come out of love, sometimes out of guilt. Either way, the truth suffers. And we see that happen in Sanju. Rajkumar Hirani's biopic on Sanjay Dutt begins with a lot of promise that bad choices make for good stories. After being compared to Bapu, Sanjay Baba chases the hagiographic writer around with a shoe. And then he gets a good writer, a good journalist to tell a story. A good journalist who's not researched or Google searched articles about Sanjay Dutt to know that his headlines always ended with a question mark. The bad choices are portrayed with levity, like drug smuggling, just 20 grams of cocaine, and predator behavior, just some 300 women. Of course, it's all harmless only compared to terrorism. Later in the film, Sunil Dutt, played by Paresh Rawal, goes to confront an editor about the headline that ends with a question mark. The editor calmly plays him a recording of Sanjay interacting with gangsters and says there are 60 hours of these. A detail quickly forgotten and brushed under the carpet exactly because of that autobiographical blind spot that we're talking about. In fact, Hirani even inserts his own film, Munna Bhai MBBS, into the redemption arc for Sanju. Wo dekh Munna Bhai ka baap. While the film sums itself up as a story of two fathers, as a cautionary tale telling us to be like Sunil and not like Sanjay, all this is completely undone by the song Baba Bolta Hai Bas Ho Gaya playing during the end credits that paints the media as the bigger villain. Given their friendship, the film leans more towards emotional support of the subject than to give us the cautionary tale that it promised us, that bad choices make for good stories. It ends up normalizing privileged Nepo kid behavior as only human. The fact that it chooses to vocalize its feelings in that end credit song with the words "Abbe chup" makes us exit the film with the unmistakable feeling that the film's colored not just with empathy but also with baggage of the filmmaker's relationship with the subject and the blind spots that come with it. Here's what's really frustrating. Sanju actually gets the first two acts right. It lets us into the chaos, the spiral, the vices. It gives us humor, honesty, conflict, vulnerability. And then, instead of letting the consequences speak, the third act rewrites the narrative, softens the blow, creating a new villain, the media with a penchant for question mark headlines. And the filmmaker himself enters the frame symbolically through Munna Bhai to rescue the character and redeem his arc. With the critical distance gone, the moral of the cautionary tale is compromised. Now let's look at the films that actually got it right. Aaron Sorkin's Social Network, directed by David Fincher, is a great example of how you can look at a character, keep him real with all the flaws, and still get the audience to root for him. The Social Network does not care if Mark Zuckerberg is coming across as cold or as an a-hole, as the film calls him at the end. It's just fascinated by his motivation. The makers trust the audience to make up their own minds about who he was. They don't overwrite it with sentiment. So how do we fix autobiographical blind spots? It's very difficult. You have to give your script to somebody who you can expect brutal honesty from, your worst critic. So send your script across to a whole lot of people you can trust with brutal honesty, because they're the only ones who can help you out with blind spots. They see a few things about you which you can't see yourself. So if you're writing something autobiographical or writing something about someone you really know, here's an exercise for you. Write the story from the point of view of someone who resents the character. What would they say? What would they expose? Then write it as a court transcript. Facts only, no embellishments. Compare both with your original draft. What are you protecting? What are you hiding? This is how you build critical distance, and that's what keeps the work honest. You're not writing a eulogy, you're writing a story. Empathy is important, but empathy without honesty is just flattery. And flattery makes for forgettable cinema. So next time you're writing a story, if it's your own or if it's about someone you care about, ask yourself, am I telling the truth or is it just a version I can live with? Yes, bad choices do make for good stories, but only if you don't chicken out halfway. And remember that no writer will ever be able to see their own blind spot. But with experience, you just might be able to drive accounting for the minimum distance that you need to maintain. That's all in this episode. I'll be back next fortnight with yet another frequently made mistake. Until then, happy writing and good luck.